So this is going to be a book review on this. It Starts With Us by Colin Hoover. If you have been living under a rock, then you do not know what this is. This is a series. This is the second book from It Starts With Us. This is the second book from it. I am going to tell you how I feel about it. Just remember that this is my opinion. These are my thoughts. If you agree with me, comment below. If you don't, comment below. I like to read other people's thoughts and what they experienced, and yeah, that's one of the reasons why I chose to start posting on YouTube is because I have so many interests and I don't really have nobody to talk to, and so I'm hoping to gain feedback and stuff like that. I'm not gonna get into that right now. But like I said, this. So let me get my phone out because I have a Instagram and it's dedicated to books. And I made a comment on somebody's post, and it looks like they commented back. So before I get into that, I absolutely loved the first book. I loved it more than I loved this one. I don't hate this book, but I don't love it, if that makes sense. It was a good book for me to finish reading it in like 2 days, maybe, like fully sat down and read it without interruptions. So it was a good enough book for me to finish it pretty quick. And I've been sitting here trying to find a reason why I don't love it as much as I did the first book. And I don't know. I think there was a lot of like hype online on the book talk and book Instagram and the book community. I think there was a lot of hype, and especially because most other people on my feed loved the first book, which as well as I did, and so I had really high like expectations for this book, and I guess like because of that I wasn't satisfied. So there's that. I'm trying to say not like I'm trying not to say a lot because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. If that hasn't read this, because it's still fairly new. I'm probably late to the party, and there's a lot of people that have read it, but for the people that haven't read it, I'm trying not to like say too much without giving it away for spoilers and stuff. So I'm going to read that, but I also have a journal that every book that I've read, I write down a review on paper, like a short 1 page front and back on paper, and it's not big. This is where I wrote. So it's just front and back of my thoughts. From what I wrote, I said on my journal was um basically what I just told you. I know that the last book was a heartbreak, and this book is a love story. That's the simplest way I can say it. And I totally agree that Atlas and Lily deserved a happy ending. I'm totally for that. But I think I was expecting more. When I read the author's note at the very end, I understood why Colin wrote it the way that she wrote it, because even she admitted that she never planned on making a sequel. She never planned on writing a second book from it ends with us. So she never planned it. So in her words, let me go to the very end so I don't botch this up. She said, and I realize most of you weren't asking me to put them through more pain. You simply wanted to see Lily and Atlas happy. So, like, when you read that and then you read this, then it totally makes sense. But I didn't read that first. I read the book first, and then the author's note last. So, after I read that, it was like, okay, I get it. But through while I was reading, I did feel like it was fast and it was kind of cheesy, like a cliche romantic book. But I went through my emotions. I cried once. I My heart stopped. My heart fluttered. My heart melted. So you know, it's a good book. I'm not trying to say it's a bad book, but it's not. I don't know. It's. I just don't know. Um, but like I said in my journal, I I always try to put myself in the position of the main character or the characters involved, but mostly like the main character. And I give Lily so much props and um so much, like, she's a strong single mom to deal with Ryle and to deal with the drama behind that. I found some, like, like, um there's really good stuff in here. Like, I don't like writing or trying to like mess up my books because I do try to like sell them afterwards. So I need like to get like sticky notes so I can um just find it. I can save a lot from that. And you can tell like this is like one of my first videos because I'm not prepared. I'm not. Anyways. And so after I write my review, I give it like a star at the end and then the year that I read it. So I gave this a 3.5 and maybe a 4 star. Because I did love the book. I was expecting a little bit more in a sense. And so I try to like not read stuff off the internet for like spoilers and stuff like that. But I happened to come across before I got this book, I read one comment that said that they didn't like how they brought back the letters, like the Dear Allen letters, and I found it like I kind of liked it. I did get confused because she wrote one letter to Alan and like she just stopped. And it was like, why put that in a book and not continue it on? Like, put like her writing to Ellen again, not bringing back the past written letters back into the book, but why put in that she wrote to her again and not continue it on? That was where it was like, why? You know what I mean? I did like that they brought back the old letters to the new one. Just because personally, when there's like sequels or like series on books, I like when the authors bring stuff from the first book to the second to the third book, just because to me it's like one big story instead of like separate stories, if that makes any sense. So I personally liked the fact that she brought back the O letters just like as a little reminder that this happened and this is why she brought up the situation. So I liked that. So my comments to this Artemis in Archive, I commented on her post last night because she was asking if she should read the book or not. And I just told her like I just finished it and she's like, well, let me share your thoughts. And she hasn't read it. And so this is what I put. So like I was trying not to spoil it for her. So I said, so I can't say that I hated it, or nor can I say that I loved it. I personally loved it and just thought it's better than this one, but I totally agreed that lily&atlas needed their story. I think there was so much hype, and also knowing that I absolutely loved the first one, that my expectations were high. This book was a great read in my opinion. My heart stopped and it fluttered and melted and I even cried. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't have read it so fast. If you did read It ends with us. I personally think you should, I meant to say, read It Starts With Us just for the simplicity of the sequel. It's a great read. And when I read the author's notes, I understood why Colin wrote the book the way she did for Lily's sake, but at the same time, I guess I was hoping for a little more. Those are my thoughts without spoiling it for you. And like I said on here, on my phone, on this book, I totally agreed that they needed their own love stories. But I also just felt like um they needed more drama, and I think that's why they brought some drama on Atlas's side, so it's not just a full-on love story. They had some little divots there, but I always like I'm not good at remembering names. So, what's her name? Alyssa. I should remember that because I have a sister-in-law named Alyssa. I love how they have been. Everybody needs Alyssa and a Marshall. Um, I I guess that's all I have to say without saying too much. I want to say more, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't read it. If you have read it, um, let me know and let me know your thoughts. I love talking books to people. My husband doesn't see the point of books, like, you know what I mean? But so I really don't have nobody to like discuss anything with after I read, especially like those really good books. It's like I have to talk to somebody. So like that's why I made in what's it called? Insta book or bookstagram. And I get on there here and there. I mostly just like and comment. But I have so much to say, and Instagram only like lets you type so much. So it's just easier talking instead of like typing. And like my thoughts are like all over the place. And that's why I write down first, get my thoughts on paper, and then I can elaborate more on here and I can talk more and yeah, so it's just fun to like talk to people with the same likes, you know? So yeah. And I hope to read some of your comments and yeah.